Hello everyone and welcome back. This is the winners round 3 matchup between Indypride and Sir Tree of Arbor. Really looking forward to this match as we are now in the top 8 of the winners bracket. There are only 8 players left in that bracket, so it's safe to say that they are the top 8. And everyone in that bracket deserves to be there at this point. All great players, and this match is certainly no exception to that. Something very interesting here about the armies. There's very little cavalry on the field. Tree over there in red, as the Mori, has 2 cavalry that we can see right now. Indypride doesn't have any. He chose the map, by the way, which is Daisetsu Sand Basin. Great choice. Totally love it. Great crab options off here in the trees. 2 good capturable buildings. Great map. And for bows, they're very similar. 2 bow monks here for Indypride. I believe these are... Oh, it's a bow hero and a bow Ashigaru. Make that 2 bow Ashigaru. And the rest is this Yari Ashigaru spear wall up in the front, which is a very interesting build. There seem to be whispers among the players that this Ashigaru spear wall is emerging as the quote-unquote most powerful build. Certainly not unbalanced, I think. At least I'm not convinced that it is so, but it is a strong build and tough to deal with. Maybe I'll talk about it more in the post-game. But first, I need to mention the one ace in the hole Indypride does have over here, which is Kisho Ninja, who is now making his way up to the front line. I guess to talk a little bit more about Indypride's build, he does have the 2 bow warrior monks protected by the Yari Ashigaru, 2 match-locked attachments also protected by Yari Ashigaru, 6 katana samurai, all fresh, a couple Yari Ashigaru here in the rear, 2 Naginata monks, which would be instrumental in breaking this Yari spear wall. I do think that this spear wall could crumble like a house of cards if you get some good morale shocks on it, and the warrior monks certainly do a great job of doing that. Microing properly here with this bow cavalry and shooting into the monks, making sure to not let them auto-fire into the Yari Ashigaru, so that's definitely good to see. Indypride moving up as he is a designated attacker on this map. Nobody's going for the buildings. It might be because both sides are short on cavalry and don't want to risk any infantry going over there and getting caught out of the battle, not being able to help in time. But that will buy Indypride plenty of time to move his ninjas up. He's got to be careful because if they do get seen by the cavalry, that's going to be a quick end to them. Also, Tree's general is in dismounted mode, so he'll easily be able to get in a stand and fight, which is very important if you're going in the Yari Ashigaru army. They definitely depend on grinding down the other side on the front of their spear walls, which is why you got to get around them. I'd recommend bringing a lot of cavalry for it, just to get him out of position, make him draw as many units back as you can, make his cavalry get distracted, bunch up his line, and get around the sides and the rear of your infantry to really grind him down. If you go straight into him head on, it's not going to be pretty unless your katana samurai are equally leveled, and since these ones are level 7, that is going to be a tall order. Indypride doing a little hybrid here. I should mention his Yari Ashigaru in the front are level 5, so he could use those to help grind down the Yari Ashigaru, but we'll have to see. Also, of course, being Ashigaru, they are weak to bows, but of course bows are also weak to other bows, and as we can see on Tree's side, he has a bow hero, so that will be very hard to skirmish against. Gotta take that out if he's going to try and skirmish down the Ashigaru line, but if you can get a missile advantage against this Yari Ashigaru spear wall, I think you could do a lot of damage against it. And of course there is the chain route possibility, being Ashigaru. In the back here he's got 3 of his Naginata monks ready in reserve. So you know, a couple Naginata samurai would be a good choice to supplement this Yari spear wall because they could fill in holes so easily. Oh, another problem with this Yari spear wall is when they're in spear wall, their fatigue gets drained, and of course an Ashigaru with low fatigue is going to have serious morale problems. So faking attacks, if you have good micro and the enemy doesn't have a lot of cavalry and bows, you can really just sort of fake attacks and get their fatigue level down and help win that grinded out battle that much easier. But against a very solid player like Tree, it may be very hard to do, especially that bow hero is just so dangerous. Looks like they just walked into range and they're just going to get, oh, torn apart. Lost 11 men in that volley. It was a combined volley from the bow cavalry and the bow hero, though. So sort of double duty there. Indypride's Kisho Ninja is still off way in the distance. Must be waiting to use those in hammer and anvil, and it's probably because Tree is patrolling here with his bow cavalry. It's a very smart move, actually. I think he suspects something like this to come from Indypride, seeing no cavalry on the field. He might actually be expecting a Kisho Ninja specifically, which would be a very astute move by Tree, as that's exactly what Indypride is trying to do. Of course, he could have something crabbing through the trees, so I think it's a good idea for Tree to be shifting to the right side, his right that is, to be away from that tree line and reduce the risk of getting crabbed by Indypride. Those fire arrows doing a lot of damage. Bow warrior monks still in decent shape though. The Yari Ashigaru have taken quite a few hits. Bow Cavalry almost running into the Yari Ashigaru. Then they go into Spear Wall, but that's going to be the cue for Tree to move his Bow Cavalry around. Maybe Tree, yeah, he's going to go into melee here against these Bow Monks. Good decision, as the battle lines may be clashing soon and the Bow Cavalry's effectiveness will be limited. And you know what? It may be Tree making the first move here, as he is officially going into Spear Wall and moving forward. Rally's been popped right away as well, so we'll see. It's going to come down to a great engagement here by Indypride. He has to get the better engagement off, because if he gets stuck in the front, these elite Yari Ashigaru could definitely wear him down, no problem. And the Katana Samurai are just running up the front, but at least running in the front here, it's going to split up his Yari Ashigaru line a little bit. But having no cavalry, he has to get a good infantry engagement off. He has nothing to save him besides the Kisho ninjas. And I guess he has the Naginata monks, but they're not going to be able to get around. So he's got to do some kind of hammer and anvil. Naginata monks just running right into the melee, and he's running and crashing right up against the front of Tree, which is exactly where Tree wants him. And his bows are going to be able to do so much damage as well. Kisho ninjas, oh, they're going to get caught by the Bow Ashigaru. That's something you don't want to have happen. All the units to get caught by. A Bow Ashigaru is going to thwart this Kisho ninja attack. Very unfortunate. War cries popped all over the front line. This is just going to be a grind at this point. Though these Bow monks are doing a lot of damage against the general. That would be huge if he killed the general. It could just send off a mass rout, and with one unit already wavering, it could be huge. But I don't think they're going to have enough time to do it, as Indypride is taking quite a few casualties. But there is wavering all on the side. Here comes the mass rout. Could happen. Yari Ashigaru are going. Surprisingly, Naginata monks are as well. Bow Ashigaru looks like they're moving up to just sort of fill in the gaps and buy time, because that's exactly what. Oh no! And the Matchlocks have a shot in the general. Maybe not a great shot. I don't think they hit anybody there, but it seems to be a pretty clear angle of field of fire. And maybe those Bow Ashigaru are moving in the way just to protect the general, which would be interesting. And this side has been almost entirely torn down. He's got to move to that center line, though. It would be so big to have some cavalry. Just one cavalry unit could easily seal the game for Indypride, but he doesn't have anything. In fact, I think I would have kept my general mounted this one, use him as a melee general. It's not often you want to do that in these classic battles, but with no cavalry, I think just one cavalry charge could have totally changed that. And his left is going to collapse here, and Tree is going to be able to pour into the center and take this battle. So close there. Indypride was really swinging in his favor there when the left started collapsing, but Indypride just wearing himself down on the front line of those Yari Ashigaru. And it looks like Tree is going to take game number 1 on Indypride's home turf. And knowing the kind of army that Tree brings, this probably wasn't a great choice of map, seeing as it's so easy to get funneled here. There's just not a lot of room to maneuver with these ridges and hills. It may not have been a great choice. You know, Indypride really likes New Mizawa. That probably would have been a better choice, as that would be very hard to run this sort of Yari spear wall core on a map like that. Very wide open, depends on maneuvering, and you could easily get him to a choke point and smash him from behind with cavalry. But I guess it could go both ways on that map. And here's the cleanup. Just a Naginata monk and a Katana hero. Oh wow, I can't believe I missed that Katana hero in mentioning the army setups, but it looks like Tree's going to have it. Katana heroes can just wreak total havoc on Yari Ashigaru, but I think there's just too many of them, and they're rank 7. And this Yari spear wall is slowly closing in on this Katana hero, and will end up killing him down to 17 men now. They are doing damage. 15 lost in that horrendous Yari spear charge. So much momentum. It's a lightning quick unit. 10 men is steady, but very tired. Yari Ashigaru is surprisingly fresh. Very interesting. Wavering on the Katana hero. It'll be over in a few seconds now, and there it is. Tree takes game number 1, and will be up in the series going on to his home turf. See you back on the main menu. Well, there it is. Tree takes game number 1 with the very powerful Yari spear wall core. And a lot of people seem to think that this is the build that could win the tournament. But I think, as we saw in that game, it has a lot of weaknesses. Just one cavalry unit could have completely changed that game, because he had to devote his whole army into holding down Indypride's line. I think Indypride did a good job of just spreading out his line and almost got a full surround with his infantry. That's exactly what you need to do, because that meant that Tree had to commit his whole infantry force into shutting that down and just keeping everything in front of him. And there was nothing in the rear, and there could have been some cavalry back there. Even if the cavalry is just a distraction and keeps some infantry off the line, it would have been a completely different game. So while he did win the match, he did show some weakness there. We'll see if Indypride can exploit that weakness in game number 2. I will see you there. Thanks for watching.